Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here, and today I want to chat with you guys a little bit about a couple of different studies that we've seen over the years, and I've linked these in the past and they're easy enough to find for people. And this is one of the reasons I laugh and take the stance that I do on pre-workouts, because we've got studies that have looked for things like placebo effect in the past, and if you guys recall, quite a few years ago, a very, very good study was done on taking experienced lifters from the university gym who were all experienced lifters. They all had a base built, and these guys were given pills, a sugar pill, it was a placebo, and they were told that it was a very, very strong oral anabolic steroid, right? They were told this in the study. And then they had a control group who was just given something like just sugar and wasn't told what it was, or they think they had a control group. And they gained considerably more muscle and strength. Not only that, but these were all experienced lifters, and at the end of the study, every single one of them who were given the placebo and told it was an anabolic, every one of them hit lifetime PRs. Across the board, every single one of them was the strongest they had ever been in their life after being given a fake anabolic that turned out to just be a sugar pill. So when we had that one study that was done on craze back in the day, we had a university study that was done on craze, where they took a group of experienced lifters, all college lifters, and they put them on a structured, fully periodized upper-lower program written by their strength and conditioning coaches at the university, and they had registered dietitians write their meal plans. And this was a pretty big study. It had a lot of people in it. And they gave them pre-workout. They gave them at the time, which was later even banned, by the way. That particular pre-workout was banned by the government. It was banned. And it was one of the most effective, most potent, most popular pre-workouts. Everyone loved it and talked about how phenomenal they felt on it. And against the control group, at the end of this 12-week study, they made no improvements over the control group, who were put on the same program and the same diet. Now, I concluded from that, hey, this proves that pre-workouts don't work. And I've had people come back with, well, I don't take it to get stronger and to get better. I take it because I need energy for my training. To which I look at them and say, but it doesn't work. These people were put on good programming and good diets, and against the control group, they didn't make any better progress. Nothing. So how could it possibly help you get a better workout? In fact, I had a troll when my number was available publicly, argued with me about this and tried to argue with me over the phone and tell me I was wrong. And it's basically, that shows you the mentality of how far people will go, that this was one of the points of the reason that he hated me. Because I spoke out against pre-workouts and he felt he needed one, and that I was just maybe because I stayed at home all day and didn't have to do real life stuff that I didn't understand the struggle. And he was so emotionally invested in his pre-workout that he became one of my actual haters who felt the need to actually call me and yell at me over the phone. Okay, and this was one of his biggest points against me, was the pre-workout thing. That's how emotionally invested people get. That's how emotionally invested they get. When I was trying to explain to him, but it doesn't help you with gains. But he's like, it gives me energy. I'm not even taking it for gains. Step back and think about that for a moment. And compare those two studies. They didn't even get a placebo effect. Alright? Do you understand how bad that looks for pre-workouts? Do you understand that that proves that pre-workouts actually cause a negative effect? People say, well, what do you mean? How could you say that? If it produced the same results, how could it have a negative effect? Because people who take pre-workouts feel that they get better workouts. Okay? Pre-workouts are so addictive and change the brain so much that people, when you tell them they don't work, they will actually hate you and call you on the phone to be angry at you because they're so convinced it works. And people who take them are convinced that they get a better workout. If you take something that convinces you that you get a better workout, what happens in the other studies? You actually get stronger. You actually gain more muscle and more strength because of the placebo effect. Look how powerful the placebo effect is with a pre-workout. It actually will make people hate you. People get addicted to them. and they feel that they have to have them to train. That's a very, very, very potent placebo would have to be there. But the anabolic study, the placebo from the sugar pill, made all of them may gain muscle and strength over the course of 12 weeks or 8 weeks. The pre-workout didn't. So what does that tell you? That tells you that the pre-workouts themselves are doing something to hurt your gains, because they have a placebo effect. And if you're convinced you're getting better workouts because you have better energy, then you will get bigger and stronger, unless something physically blunts the training response. What I'm suggesting here is actually so damning against pre-workouts that I'm suggesting that they're actually harmful. Because if they didn't have something harmful to counteract the placebo in your head that you get from it, you would get gains on them. But you don't in the studies. They don't. They don't. I'm suggesting that the cranking up of your nervous system from the pre-workouts actually reduces your recovery. I'm suggesting it impacts your recovery, so that you end up, maybe you get one better workout from it, but then you don't recover as much. So when your next workout gets there, even though you might feel like you got a better workout because of the stuff in your head telling you that you did, I'm suggesting that you actually are getting an inferior training response. And I'm suggesting that whatever they do to hype you up stays up. It is probably affecting sleep. It's probably keeping cortisol artificially elevated, because we know elevated cortisol at the end of a workout is actually correlated with more muscle growth. Meta-analysis has found that. It's confirmed that. That's not really debated. But if it stays elevated too long, we get a negative response, because it breaks down muscle tissue. So you want a large breakdown. You want a large catabolic response immediately at the end of your training. That suggests that you trained really hard usually. It's correlated with a really good workout, because you've actually caused a fair amount of tissue trauma. You've worked hard. You've disrupted the homeostasis in your body. I'm suggesting that maybe the pre-workouts themselves, with all the stems and everything involved with them, are keeping things like your heart rate up, your cortisol up, all your stress hormones up longer, because they don't clear your system the second the workout is done. That's the problem with a lot of these pre-workouts. You take them and they're in your system a while. They don't drop back to zero the second you finish the last rep of your training, right? As you're walking out the gym door, they're still in your body. They're still causing a stress response. So I'm suggesting that's one possible reason why they actually hurt your gains. Because clearly they would have to be hurting your gains enough to offset the improved mood you get, to offset the feeling that you got a better workout and the energy that you have. Because otherwise that alone would create a placebo. Right? We've seen it in the anabolic studies. We know that's real. We know that when you're given a sugar pill that you're convinced is going to make you gain muscle and strength, that you do automatically. It happens by default, even if it doesn't work. When it's fake, it doesn't happen with the pre-workout. So there has to be an actual mechanism involved with it that's hurting your actual muscle growth. And I think it has to do with the fact that they hype you up, that they stimulate you, that they keep you at a higher level of psychological arousal. All right, and I'm suggesting that probably has a hormonal cascade effect, something like cortisol and other stress hormones that stay elevated. And if those are staying elevated and they interfere with your sleep at all, if you lose 30 minutes of sleep on the days that you take a pre-workout, even later in the evening, if you lose even 30 minutes of sleep, that will have a measurable negative impact on your muscle growth. So what I'm trying to say is that based upon this data, they actually hurt your progress. So what's happening is that people are paying money, their hard-earned money every month, to buy a product that becomes psychologically addictive that actually hurts your gains. And it's one of the biggest hustles the supplement industry has pulled. Branched-chain amino acids are the biggest one we've seen in recent years. We know that's a hustle now. That is not denied by any expert anymore. No real expert denies that. I'm suggesting that the pre-workout thing is the next biggest hustle behind that. I'm convinced it actually hurts your progress. That's my opinion, and I think the evidence will support that. Alright guys, well that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it's been informative, and I will talk to you guys next time.